In this video we will be going over the gauges, SPG, Just Defense and Hyper Defense. Up here is your health bar. You can see that currently my health is at a flashing yellow portion with SPG on it. When selecting your character, either online or offline, you can set your SPG position to either the start, the middle or the end of your health bar. Being in SPG gives you a few benefits. You get access to your REV BLOWs special attack and your hidden gear super move. You get an attack and defense boost, and you get a small discount when doing actions that increase your Rev Gauge. While the attack boost is the same for all SPG positions, the defense boost and the discount for actions that costs Rev increases the lower you set your SPG in your health bar. There is no right or wrong place to set your SPG. However, as of the making of this video, setting it to the end of your life bar gives you a significant defense boost, to the point you will survive combos that would otherwise end the round. Is 2 bars with a star on it down here, or your super meter. Super meter starts empty and goes up as you land attacks on the opponent. Get hit. Or block attacks from the opponent. Once a star shows up on the super meter, you have a super stock and can use a level 1 super, called an ignition gear. Once you get 2 stocks of super meter, you can spend both of them to do a level 2 super, called the red line gear. If you are in SPG, instead of the red line super, you can do the hidden gear. To do a level 1, you do the super motion and press the corresponding light button. To do a level 2, you do the same motion but press the corresponding heavy button. For the hidden gear, you do the same motion for all characters and press the Rev button. The gauge above your super meter is called the Rev Gauge. It starts empty and goes up as you block attacks normally, block attacks using the Rev Guard, use Rev Blows and Guard cancels, more on those later, and as you use Rev Arts. Rev Arts are powered up versions of your special moves. Most Rev Arts can be cancelled into each other. The game calls this a Rev Axel. You can also Rev Axel into a Rev Blow. Your Rev Gauge depletes over time. It will deplete faster if you move forward, land attacks on the opponent, however, landing Rev Arts will not deplete the gauge, block attacks by doing Just Defense or Hyper Defense, and also hitting the opponent with your Hidden Gear super move will completely empty your gauge.
I could do this all day.
If your Rev Gauge gets full, you enter Overheat.
Overheat.
Why being in Overheat sucks? You cannot use Rev Arts, even if you are in SPG. You cannot use Rev Blow.
Break down. Take this. Rock. Rally.
You cannot use any of the game's defensive mechanics. If your character has an invincible DP, that move will not have invincibility while you are in Overheat. And finally, you can get Guard Crushed, which opens you up for a combo. You can tell you are in danger of getting Guard Crushed by looking at that blue bar below your health bar. Once you are in Overheat, that bar turns red, and it depletes with every attack you block. Once the bar is empty, you get Guard Crushed. As a silver lining, if you survive the combo after the Guard Crush, you are now out of Overheat. Other than that, once you are in Overheat, your Rev Gauge starts to deplete after 3 seconds, and you can make it deplete faster the same way you do when outside of Overheat. Just Defense is the game's main defensive mechanic. You do Just Defense by blocking just before an attack connects with you. The benefits of Just Defense are: prevents cheap damage, decreases a small amount of the Rev Gauge, recovers a small amount of health, and gives you access to guard cancels. More on those later. In this game, you cannot block attacks in the air, but you can just defend them in the air. Just defending in the air will give you the same benefits as grounded Just Defense. Keep in mind that you cannot use Just Defense in the air after doing an attack, even if you recover from it while in the air. You can only just defend in the air from a jump or a normal jump. You cannot just defend from a hop. There is also a height restriction. Once you are close enough to the ground, even from a normal jump or a dash jump, you can no longer just defend. And on that note, you cannot just defend Rev Blows, either on the ground or in the air. Hyper Defense is similar to Just Defense, and gives the same benefits, but you do it by pressing forward after blocking normally. In this example, Terry will do his target combo into Rev Burning Wave. This leaves him plus on block, so if I mash I get counter hit. If I manage to just defend the first hit, I can easily just defend the remaining hits and potentially punish him with a guard cancel. If I fail to just defend the first hit, I can no longer just defend this sequence. However, I can hyper defend it by pressing forward at the right timing after blocking the first hit. And after hyper defending, I can either do an immediate guard cancel or switch to just defense. Finally, just defense and hyper defense do not affect the frame data. If you just defend a move that is plus on block, that move remains plus on block. But the thing is, just defense lets you do guard cancels, and by cancelling into the right special move, you can sometimes punish stuff that it's supposed to be plus. Guard cancels are essentially cancelling your just defense or hyper defense into a special or super move. In this example, Terry will do his target combo and cancel it into DP break. This leaves him safe on block, meaning it's my turn, but I cannot punish him. But if I do a guard cancel after just defending his DP break, I get to counter hit punish him. One thing to note is that any combo starting from a guard cancel will be heavily scaled, doing a lot less damage than normally. Characters that have aerial special moves can guard cancel into them from air just defense. And all characters can guard cancel into their air Rev Blow. Doing a guard cancel into a super move will turn the super into what's called a zero frame super. Zero frame supers have the same damage scaling as all other guard cancels, but they are still useful to punish normally safe stuff and close out a round. In this example, Terry will knock me down and do a safe jump. If I try to do an invincible super on wake up, he blocks. But if I do a zero frame super on wake up, he gets hit. You do guard cancels by inputting the special or super move after a successful just defend. The window to do it is a bit tight, but there are ways to buffer the moves before just defending to make it easier. I will explain it in more detail in another video. That's it for this video. I want to make this clear, you do not need to master every single defensive mechanic in this video to play this game. Even at the highest level, you can see City of the Wolf players doing just fine by playing normally and occasionally doing defensive stuff. Being able to just defend and guard cancel consistently at the right moments will give you a small advantage over people who don't, but either way, this does not guarantee you will win 100% of your matches. Again, it is good to learn, it is very fun to do, but it is not required to start playing the game. For the next video, I will be explaining counter hit and wild punish. After that, we can begin with the guides on how to actually practice stuff for matches and with some small character guides. Thanks for watching.